Afternoon, David.
Good afternoon, David.
Hello. Hello.
We were listening to the Parliament channel and what was going on, but I don't want to preempt what we've got coming up. But wow, that Keir Starmer and that Kemi Badner, what a double act there.
Comedy gold, that's for sure. I was enjoying it, David.
Oh, that bad cop. Is that what we'd say? Good cop, bad cop? Kemi Badner saying, "Whoa, let's go war," and yeah, Carl saying, "No, not yet. No, not yet."
Hold your horses, we'll get there. Yeah. We're going to deal with the Scottish issues first, as we always do, and then we'll broaden it out after the first 5 topics, because you never get much actually from Thursday to Monday because the weekend's in there, you know.
Yep.
So what we will do, we'll cover what we know that we covered last week, and the last story will tell us a wee bit about how our MSPs think.
Yeah, and here's the latest news from Scotland, because they're bugger all over it. Mrs. McLumfer, in a shock thing, has got divorced from her husband, and she is now dating another chap just along the street. So that's big Scottish news, that is.
Right. Of course, we know the polling's starting to roll out weekly on what's going on. And one of the polls that have been conducted have asked what are the most prevalent things in the Scottish people's psyche at this point in time, and what is the most concerning issues for the Scottish people at this point in time, and the run up to the Holyrood election.
And they are?
Well, you'll be surprised to find that one of the biggest issues here in Scotland isn't included, but let's get into it. Okay, now according to the surveys, a cost of living crisis, health and social care, immigration, the economy, taxation, and energy are the top 6 questions on people's mind. The other ones that make up the 10 in the Overton window, we've got housing, and we've got the constitutional.
Yeah, so I get this right. This is what your usual campaigner for many of the parties going about, chap the door, and somebody's going to hit them with these questions.
They're going to ask about these 6 issues, apparently.
Right. So if I was Labour or Conservative or Reform, somebody said, "Oh, what about my plumbing electricity bill?" Yeah, bastard, plumbing Swinny and the SNP, they're to blame, right? And you've got to understand, this is what will be going on. These people,
you know, David, that's quite interesting when you get to the economy bit, but we'll get there, okay?
Yep. You talk about what about the cost of living? I can't afford to do this and that and the other. And yet again, it's like if you speak to the Greens, maybe, or you speak to SNP, you'll get decent answers. But see, when you get the cuckoos in the nest, as you term them, right? They'll be in there going, "Yeah, that's dreadful." It's all down to the SNP. They've been out for 18 years, and it's a mess.
Now, what this list tells me, David, and this is quite important, it tells me that the Scottish electorate know very, very little about these subjects that are prominent in their mind, because 1.5% of these fucking 6 topics have got to do with the Scottish Parliament.
How long have I been thrusting that down your fucking throat?
No,
they're all PhDs and know exactly what's going on. Do they fuck?
No.
David,
you don't get it, do you?
I do get it. I do get it very, very well.
Remember, they're answering the poll. The questions have been structured for them.
So
therefore, it's been engineered for these to be the top.
Yes, I appreciate that.
Right. Now let's
all in all, it doesn't matter. If you're asked about what about Scotland's economy, instead of somebody at the door saying, "I'm not a fucking clue," they say, "Oh yeah, something to do with my wages and we pay too much tax and we do."
David, let's get through them one at a time, okay? Apparently, the thing that is most prevalent in all our minds is the cost of living.
Yeah.
Reserved. Okay, health and social care. Devolved. Immigration at number 3 here in Scotland. Fucking doubt it. But anyway, immigration reserved.
Is it run by the Borders Agency? And in actual fact, Mears Limited are doing a really good job of buying up every property they can in Glasgow, or renting every property in Glasgow, to stop people from getting a blooming house. And the reason they're doing that is because they're employed by the Borders Agency in Bracknell, right? Who have given them an open checkbook to just go and buy as much housing as possibly can, so you cannot get it, right?
Right on time.
Right on time.
Someone is at the front door.
Anyway, where were we at? The cost of living. Health and social care is devolved. Immigration is reserved. The economy, folks. This one's interesting.
I'm online at the moment. I can't take your call. Sorry, mate. I can't come to the door. Okay, all right. Guy collects for the bins, fuck's sake.
Anyway, it's interesting when it comes to this particular survey because it's given us it in percentages, right?
Yeah.
So on the cost of living, 62% of Scots is the most important thing. I imagine that would be likewise right across these islands.
If people don't have the money to pay their council tax, to pay their rent, to buy food, to run an electricity meter, heat up water, all the rest of it, right? Of course, they're going to be and hit you on
right.
the cost of living. In actual fact, I think that 62% is too low.
Right, health and social care, which is a devolved issue. That's at the forefront of 50% of people's minds, apparently.
Yeah, right.
Immigration, and this is here in Scotland, immigration is at 29% in the people's forefront of people's mind.
Yeah.
The economy is at the forefront of 31% of people's minds. Housing is at 18%, and energy is about 20. It's at 20%. Now it's right up there. As I say, these are basically the questions. 60 questions that make up the Overton window when it comes to Scottish politics, right?
A serious question, David, right? I'm asking you in front of all of our viewers and all the rest of it, right? How do we sort this? How do we make it whereby the people are educated as to what's what? I mean, going after energy.
What we do, David, is we simplify the system and get rid of the other fucking mob down the road.
No, what I'm talking about is right now heading.
I don't know, David, because we don't have access to the sort of multimedia platforms we would need to be able to educate the people on what's reserved.
What we've got to do is we've got to rely on the people that watch us and who are already clued up, but say to them, look, guys, you need to be talking to people about this. It might be they didn't take part in that particular poll, but we can take from that that's somewhere in their minds, and you've got to be asking questions to them. What do you think the economy's run from? What do you think the energy's controlled from? Right, and I take it from there because seriously, we need to be talking to people.
We certainly do. I certainly am while I'm out and about.
Yes.
Right, now, the last one, the energy one, yeah, that's a bollocks. You know, that was slipped in there to keep the constitutional question a bit lower in that scale.
Yeah, I know. They don't want to use the, did I say independence? Oh my goodness me. Time for independence, as I say, in Scotland.
As I say, this survey's been structured to make sure that these come up with the top 6 and the 10 questions that would make up the Scottish politics Overton window.
Yeah, we understand that. Who did the poll?
It was commissioned by Sir John Curtis, I believe.
Right. Who did What
I'm
company?
not sure. It doesn't say in the article I was reading.
Right. Okay. I'm surprised at John Curtis because John Curtis generally is fairly straight in how he does things, right? And I've got to say, this comes across as a wee bit bendy. Doesn't
Well,
you?
you know that the data the article I was reading was written by the BBC.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
So I should have declared that, you know, so that we know how much a bucket worth of salt to use.
So, in
Well,
actual fact,
consuming it.
it's possible the BBC contacted John Curtis and said, "Can we run a poll on your behalf?"
Every possibility. Right, let's move on. I mean, it's time to laugh at Anas Sarwar now, as he tries to recycle the 2024 Westminster Manifesto as the Scottish Labour Manifesto. It's quite funny.
Change.
No. That's why he is going down the hit list, and we are now at number 3 because you can't day workers, right? So we're at number 3 in the UK manifesto hits list, and that is Build Baby Build. Anas Sarwar says he'll build 125,000.
150, it said in mine.
125, it says in the BBC.
No, BBC are incorrect. It's like I heard it was 150. Anyway, does it make any difference? Because Sarwar's going to do.
But just to let people understand, the Labour manifesto that's being portrayed by Anas Sarwar as the Scottish Labour manifesto is a carbon copy of the 2024 Westminster Labour manifesto. It cannot be anything other as it is a branch office.
But they're going to save Grangemouth.
No, I'm afraid that bit's been dropped in favour of building 125,000 houses. Sorry, 150,000 houses, dear boy.
Is he going to save the Wispy woman again?
Probably.
You know.
Anyway, poor Sarwar's no had a good week. And it didn't end well either, with the SNP accusing his parents of financing his political career to the tune of 295,000.
Must be nipping right at the moment because he can see the impending doom of his leadership of Scottish Labour. And his dad must have been on the phone to him from Pakistan saying, "Right, son, I've got your."
His dad's no talking to him, or he's no talking to his dad.
Well, the reason that's happening is because Pakistan are busy trying to take out America and Israel right now. You understand? They're getting involved.
Well, anyway, apparently his dad, Mohammed Sarwar, who was the first a Pakistani MP, or he's an MP, and he was an MP for Glasgow.
Yeah.
He's financed the Scottish Labour by 295,000 since 2010. And the reason why that funding might be about to dry up is because Anas has had to distance himself from his father, who has put out social media praising the Ayatollah and condemning Israel and America for his murder, his martyrdom. He's being called a martyr.
This is the thing. It's like people might agree or disagree with what goes on inside Iran or what went on inside Iran for the past so many years, right? But you have to remember that America have been in there from day one, and the UK have been there from day one, trying to do regime change. They're the ones that brought in the royal family in Iran, right? And at the end of the day, it's like when he didn't do it, they shot him, and they rebelled, and they shot him, and that's how the Islamic Republic came on, right? End of story. And it's like, from that time, they've been shouting death to America, death to the UK. And it's been one of those kind of phrases that they seem to have used over and over again. I'm running this story long before we should do, right? But if Anna Sauer's dad is saying, "You bastards, UK, Israel, USA, buggers."
Annis also shot himself in the foot at the tail end of the week when he said that he would make junior doctors he work in the NHS for a minimum of 5 years after qualifying, or else he'd make them pay for their tuition. And if that was to apply to Sarwar, he'd be paying for his tuition now. He trained as an NHS dentist. Right, idiot. But I mean, I just found it funny that it looks like the Sarwar family have been keeping the branch office afloat since 2010. You know, and him having to distance himself from that funding because his dad has praised the Ayatollah and condemned America and Israel for his death. You know,
there's a lot of people in Scotland that, let's say, a similar thing happened to, say, the Pope, right? People in Scotland would be going, "Oh, it's dreadful." Other people in Scotland would be going, "Oh, that's great." It's the Rangers mob, right? "Oh, that's great. No poverty yet. There's no poverty now," right? So at the end of the day, it's like, this is what happens. So that man, that religious leader, the Ayatollah, he was killed. He was killed in a sovereign country, in his own sovereign country. And at the end of the day, nobody had any right to do that.
No. And as I was saying this morning, it looks like we're galloping towards another Labour Prime Minister being a war criminal, a proper war criminal. The way
the people of Iran, if there had been a proper rebellion and they had taken out the Ayatollah, right? That's a different matter. That's a civil war within the sovereign state. But how it's been done for America and Israel and now the UK, no, and guys, it's just not cricket where I come from. But we don't play cricket anyway. So,
well, as I say,
the answer to that, Stephen McNeil, he says, "Why do America and the UK have any right to interfere in any country business?" They don't.
They don't. Right, now let's move on.
Unless, of course, the particular country involved asks for help. It's a different matter.
Yes. Now, didn't really want to talk about this one, but it has been in the press over the weekend, and we've got friends who are associated with and members of the Alpa Party.
Yes.
Now, it would appear that the members are allegedly calling for Mr. McCaskill to stand list candidates in this election or step aside.
Well, to be honest with you, on behalf of the people that were very, very disappointed at what happened the other week there, it's like I can only say, yeah, fine, okay, good. I'm glad. And if something comes of it, perhaps that takes some of the sting at the tail of the thing, right? Whether at this stage now they're going to get elected or they're going to find any upsurge in their votes, I don't know, but they can but try, I suppose. Yeah.
Well, first they've got to get around the problems that the party has. They haven't submitted any accounts. Tasmina Zalski.
Tasmina's actually
registered no money to pay for these candidates.
So to actually reset it up? What would Tasmina's deregister it, right? To re-register it, what would they have to do?
No, I never said she deregistered, although that's what I've been told. It's been deregistered. I haven't checked myself.
Right.
But no, what I said was she's off.
Yeah. And
technically, she's actually in the party. She registered it.
That's right.
No.
So what they would have to do is they have to actually submit accounts, right?
Which they can't because they've been forensically looked at by forensic accountants at this point in time because they've been looking at potential fraud since December last year.
It's bad. It's dreadful. the people that are involved, the normal, ordinary people, not the politicians, normal, ordinary people that put their trust and all the rest of it behind Alba. That's ridiculous. That's bad, right?
Right.
You look at the situation with SNP. Situation.
I'm not going to get, David. I'm not going to get into the details of the inner machinations or how their members feel, because I don't know.
Yeah,
right.
But it's still a situation whereby your friends are sitting there going, "We don't know which way to turn here."
There's a lot of truth in that, and anyway, what I was being told, or what I was reading in the article about this over the weekend was that there's a group within the party wanting to take the party out if Kenny will stand aside. I don't know how they're going to be any more successful in storing candidates. I don't.
Is that the Alliance? What Alliance? I think it's called.
The Alba Continuity or something like that.
Is it? Alba Continuity.
Anyway, it's made up of Angus Brendan McNeil.
Yeah.
Ex-SNP MP Tommy Sheridan, previous of Solidarity, and Scottish Socialist Party or something like that.
The problem is, right? Let's say they get through it, and now let's get it set up. And a miracle happens. In actual fact, they managed to get a few of these people into the Scottish Parliament. Right? Wonderful. Right? Okay. Tommy Sheridan is a great rabble-rouser. He's a dreadful politician. Right? Because he's great at getting people's votes up. He really is. Seriously, Tommy's brilliant, right? But put him in the Parliament where he's got to actually discuss something which is a bit intense. Tommy might have his law degree, still in all, he ain't going to be able to handle that. So what we've got is we've got a load of pro-indie people that want to get into the Scottish Parliament. It's not good. What I need people that are able to, business people and all the rest of it, that want independence, that are going to take us across the glowing hurdle and make Scottish into an independent country.
Right. Alexandra was telling us that Angus Ben McNeil answered her when she asked what they will do for funds, and he said we'll rely on donations. Well, I suppose if they could raise it.
Yeah.
And Nathan, yes, there is a deadline, 20th of April.
Yeah. There you go, guys. If any of you support the our party, you now know that the 20th of April is definitely the date when they have to have registration.
And candidates declared.
Yeah, that's
right. So,
not saying it can't be done, because
by the way, folks, just in case you didn't know, that's also the last date that you can register to vote in this election.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. The dates are all standardised.
Yeah.
Candidate selection, payments made, registered, and registered to vote. That's it.
Yeah.
All over on the 20th of April. So, of course, the election is 2 weeks later.
Can I put a bit of notice? Chris Fisher, you've just put up a post there. I agree. I want to get it in. Can you copy it and paste it and put it back? And again, when we get to the second part of the show, where we'll discuss it. All right.
Oh, aye. I've seen that one. All right. So apparently there is a group within the party who are wanting to try and keep it going.
Yeah.
But how they're going to, I don't understand how they're going to get to stand candidates if they haven't submitted books, and if it's true that Tasmania has deregistered the party.
I can imagine people like Angus Brendan McNeil and all the rest of it.
So I imagine they'll have the answers.
Are working hard to try and get some way through.
Yep.
Right?
Aye, definitely.
At the end of the day, it's pointless sort of like threatening them and say, "Oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that." Just let them go and do it.
So you get Angus, Tommy, and is it Christina Henry, Alex niece?
I think so. Yeah.
They're all wanting to step up and take the party out.
Yeah.
But As far as I know, it's Tasmina's party.
To be honest with you, in an ideal world, which is not, right, I'd like to see the SNP take us over the bridge, over the Rainbow Bridge to independence, right? Open up an independent legislature, and then all of a sudden, there's the application going ahead for any parties, any Scottish parties that wish to take part in it, with legislation that states that any previously English or London-based parties are not allowed to take part in the legislature, and straight away that would open up the doors for people that for parties like Alba and you name it. You go right through all the names, and
Yeah,
it's
this one up first.
really, really wonderful, because then the D'Hondt system benefits all of us. We might be cursing it right now, but at that time, the D'Hondt system is brilliant. Or we change it onto the single transferable vote. Similar, but there is benefits to it.
Right, let me answer this one. It's strange you haven't got a voting card sent to me yet. It's no strange. They don't start sending them out until 6 weeks before the election.
That's right.
So I know that they seem to be lying around your house for quite a long time. Well, 6 weeks is a long time.
Yeah,
but they start sending them out 6 weeks before the election, and you should have it by at least a month before the election.
Get the calendar out, work out what is 6 weeks before the election, put a big circle around it, and if you haven't got a polling card within maybe
2 weeks,
a week or 2 weeks after that,
yep,
then pick up the phone to the people that actually
right. Okay, so if you remember the Alpha Party, it's a bit touch and go here whether they're going to be candidates stood or whatever. I don't quite have my head wrapped around it, but to be fair, I haven't been following it.
Guys, we might have been each other's throats in a nice way, in a political way, right?
Blunt and honest with each other.
Understand that we're just being honest with you, and we don't wish you any harm or bad or whatever, right? We don't find lots of things being said, but that happens in politics, right? We forgive every single one of you, same as you forgive every single one of us. At the end of the day, it's like, if you want to, whichever you want to do, that's your choice.
Earthlumer, what would you want Scotland's broadcasting system to look like after Indy? I'm sorry, the minute it's won, I'm shutting this fucking lot down. I'm out of here. I'm retiring. I'll be spending the rest of my life watching the construction work like an inspector.
No, I'm going to get a chair on the 17-foot high chain link fence that separates Scotland from England, and I'm going to look down towards England and watch the mayhem take place.
Right, obviously we're in the run-up to the election, and the council tax rises are prominent on everybody's minds at this point in time. Now, according to what I'm being told by the BBC, 9 councils have already stated what the rises will be, but when you get to the last 2 of them have got to be confirmed. To be confirmed. Oh, fucking, the standard of journalism is piss poor.
I think I think in actual fact the phrase that goes with that is, we'll see what we can get away with.
Anyway, who's declared?
Yeah, every single person in Scotland that pays council tax. I don't care who it is, whether they're an SNP or Conservative or Labour or whatever, right? It's like you're being taken for a blooming ride.
Anyway, we'll get into the numbers now, can we?
Right, go on then.
Because it's quite painful for some areas. Yeah. Right. So, the areas that have declared, David, according to the BBC, Aberdeen City, 8.1%. Aberdeenshire Council, 10%.
Can you possibly? I don't know if you manage to do this, but your mind works, right? But can you possibly put in what the council's control is, whether it be Labour, Conservative?
No, I don't have it right off the top of my head, David.
What?
It wasn't in the article.
Right. Okay. Sorry about that. Right. Carry on.
Right. So that was Aberdeenshire Council, 10%. Angus, which is supposed to have declared, is to be confirmed because they've not voted on it yet.
Yeah.
Argyll and Bute, 9.7%. City of Edinburgh, 4%. Clackmannanshire, 5.6%. Western Isles, 8.5%. Dumfries and Galloway, 8.5%. Dundee City, to be confirmed. And East Ayrshire, 6.9%. And yesterday, I've added this to the list, North Lanarkshire voted on a 7%.
Anything from Western Bartonshire there, David? Because I don't know.
No, it's no, they haven't declared yet. They haven't went through their budget negotiations and voted on it.
Right, so it's notable. I don't know what the guy's name was, but as a Labour councillor, has spit his dummy out and thrown his toys at the pram, and he's off. He's distanced himself from the Labour Party or Labour administration in Western Bartonshire right now. So I must read that later on. But it's in the Clydebank Post. I'll have a look at it.
Well, I mean, a lot of these councils are coalition councils, and
no, but the Western Bartonshire Council definitely is Labour.
I know, I get that, but a lot of them are coalition councils, but it will still impact their individual parties politically in this election.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter whether you've got a coalition council or you've got Labour's SNP council. The people who live in that area know who runs the council.
Yeah.
And
so therefore, by extension, as Mr. Goebbels would say, by extension, straight away we can actually say that the majority of people will look at their council as being a Labour, a Conservative coalition, and therefore they're not going to give any votes to Labour or Conservative.
These decisions by the councils will impact their political parties in this election.
Yeah, dead right.
Because we were just discussing it during the budget when they were getting reprimanded and told to keep the council tax low. And you knew that she did, the minister wasn't sincere. She said, fucking hit people if you want. It's your party they're going to hit.
Yeah.
You know? I thought it was quite clever. But as I say, North Lanarkshire, where I am, 7%. I suppose that's sort of mid-range for what we're expecting right across Scotland. Edinburgh City, where the money is, 4%. Clackmannanshire, the small county and one of the wealthiest counties in the whole of Scotland, 5.6%. And down the Ayrshire coast, where they're quite well off and all, only 6%, 6.7%.
Yeah.
So the more affluent the area it is.
The big reality in that, right? In Edinburgh, you look at it and you go, where in Scotland are the really, really expensive Band Z properties? Edinburgh, right? So therefore 4%. Yeah, we'll make a killing at 4. In actual fact, we could make it 3.5, but we'll make it 4. You got to understand behind all these numbers is a reason, is a way it flexes, and you got to look at it and say, is it a well-off area or is it a poor area? It's a poor area, and what's going to happen is the council are going to screw these poor people in poor areas for as much money as they can squeeze out of them.
Aye, see, but it's interesting because the decisions being made by the councils right now will impact the outcome of the Scottish election.
Good.
You know, it will. Right, now, David, to an interesting story that you and I spoke about last week. And that was the debate in Holyrood to introduce a recall petition for MSPs.
In other words, an MSP gets up to dirty deeds, and the people that voted them in have got to be able to say, get him out of here and we'll get an election going and we'll get him replaced. That's what you're on about. Yes? Yes?
Yes.
Right. So
anyway, how do you think the MSPs voted on this one?
They all went no way.
Correct.
The majority of them would be out in their bloody ear
Absolutely right. And that includes some PMSPs.
Jackson Carlo, I've been told by somebody that lives in Newton Mearns, is rather loved. Right? And I went, no, he's no. He's looking as if he's going to get bounced at the next election. But anyway, there you go. He's got a majority of just over 2,000. So Newton Mearns, that sort of area, Ayr Road in Glasgow. Jackson's in for a hard time. Anyway, yeah, right.
But aye, as I say, when I read that, when I read about the vote and the outcome, I was pissing myself laughing.
Yeah.
You know, this isn't the sort of thing that you put to the MSPs. This is the sort of thing you put out in a referendum to the people.
Dead right. And the people go, aye, let's do that.
Let's do that, aye.
All the politicians go, oh, shit, right?
Yeah. It's like asking turkeys to vote for Christmas, for fuck's sake.
Right.
This one's going to take it back to the petitions committee and petition for a referendum on this issue.
It's like asking the people to mark their own example. Right. So, what we got now, Dave? What's on the list? I forget. What are we up to now?
Oh, we're up to Iran now.
Right. Let's get talking about Iran.
Let's do that.
Something up with Iran. I wasn't sure. I heard something.
Apparently, Trump and some really powerful men really want to avoid the consequences of their actions, which are being revealed in the Epstein files.
Yeah,
so they've decided setting the Walden fire is a good distraction.
Yeah, that's it. If you look at the benefits that Trump and co have got from this, right? They've got the Epstein files that are literally becoming wow, right? Okay. Next, you've got the impending midterm elections, midterm to Super Tuesday or whatever they call it, right? And Trump wants to knock that in the head, or he wants to take control of all the voting and you name it, right? Okay. And then you've got the Venezuela thing. Now, believe it or not, America have made some money off Venezuela already through taking various boats full of oil, right? Now, David and I did have a debate earlier on. I think it's the best place to put it. But I've got knowledge that says that Chevron are actually in Venezuela and they are doing their level best to produce oil from Venezuela for America, right? Then, over and above that, you've got the Iran situation. Iran are sitting on top of, what is it, 13% of the world's entire oil stocks.
12.
The oil, is it 12, right?
Aye.
And the thing about it is that they have light sweet crude, like we do in the Clare Ridge field, which is very light sweet crude, is very, very thin, very, very straightforward oil, very easy to produce and all the rest of it, right? Whereas the stuff
coming out of
Venezuela is like effectively the old bars of soap you used to get, right? It's solid, right? And the great thing is that if America wants to process that crude oil coming from Venezuela, the light sweet crude from Iran is ideal to mix it with. So it's a join up made in heaven. Something like that. Just find a way to take over Iran. Do a regime change. Do what you need to do. Bomb the hell at them. Whatever. Get them to give in, right? And then basically you look at Iran and you look at the American bases around about. Iran is entirely encircled with American bases. If they didn't set those missiles to hit all those American bases, you'd think they're bloody daft. You know, at the end of the day, it's like if they are being attacked, then what are they going to do? Then it comes down to the playground stuff. You're in the playground, you get hit by a bully. The best way you can deal with it is hit the bully back. Simple as that. In the story.
Well, I'm not sure about the oil thing, David, but I suppose it's a possibility. If Venezuelan oil's like straight out of tar pit,
Yeah.
and it can be mixed with sweet crude,
Yeah,
it's easier to refine.
Literally, see refining.
But I'm not sure the connections. But according to Alexandra in the comments, the Trump family have bought 1 million shares in Chevron.
Yeah.
But I say I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
But there's a debate going on at the moment, and of course,
at the end of the day,
Farmer has.
There's a lot of stuff that doesn't hit the mainstream media for obvious reasons, because the people that own the newspapers or the mainstream media are the elites, so the people, the 1%, right? They don't want information like that getting out. They don't. End of story. That's obvious, right? So Chevron are in Venezuela doing very well indeed. Thank you very much.
I don't have any news to say that's true.
True. Absolutely, David. And I agree with you. Seriously,
Don't do speculation. This program, David, is bad for us.
It's not.
You could also get us banned.
It's not really. That's not speculation. There's enough stories out there linking Venezuela.
There's nothing official, and I'm not getting into whatever it's said in the only press.
All right, we're on discussing Iran, so let's.
We are. Now, Starmer has given the Americans permission to use UK bases to.
Okay, let's start. Let's pick that apart, right? He's done 2 major speeches, right? First major speech, effectively, he said we won't be getting involved for now.
Yep.
That was actually mentioned in that first speech, right? However, what he said was, there's many of the airplanes up in the sky in that area where it's airplanes, and they're there to basically look out for our allies, Israel and America, right? And that's where we are, right?
Yep.
Then what happened was Trump came on and asked the obvious question. Akrotiri is quite close to Israel. Can we possibly use Akrotiri, right? And then Starmer's gone back to him and said, well, you can use it, but only for defensive
purposes. Aye.
And Trump has blown a blooming gasket over that one. What? Yeah, you're going to stop us from taking action against this horrible Iran that forced us to clinch it. Simple as that, you know.
Aye, and of course they're claiming they need to liberate the women.
Now, the one image that I can take away from this, I've seen lots of images of Iran being hit by the thing about the 100 and odd schoolgirls that were killed in Iran. That's beyond thinking, right? But you can imagine now the people that are operating the rockets, the missiles in Iran are sending them up and going, are we just going for bases or are we going for actual places, right? And last night, part of Israel was literally flattened, just the same way as as you've seen Gaza being flattened, right?
Anyway, but one of the excuses for their actions is to liberate Iranian women from the tyranny of the clerical state.
Aye.
And of course, the way they do that is by bombing a girls' school or 2A.
Yeah, heard it. Aye. It's like, seriously, they're looking for any reason they can to try to justify what they're doing.
What they're doing is setting the world on fire because there's a bunch of really powerful people who need to be held to account for their actions.
The problem is, what's happened is, last night I watched several movies, several videos, several hundreds of videos, where the missiles were landing in Tel Aviv. Very, very little in the way of the Patriot missiles going up and stopping them, right? Okay, everybody's going, there's the Patriot missiles, right? And these missiles were coming in from Iran, and they were like sideways rain. And and you take the Tel Aviv is the major city in Israel, and Israel's got 90 nuclear weapons. Right? What we've been told, right? And they must now be looking at those. These horrible people must be looking at those 90 nuclear weapons and thinking,
sorry, don't accept David.
Shall we or shall we not?
There is no confirmation on the amount
David,
of capacity.
I'm not saying that's the news I've got. I'm saying that is a common sense thought process that goes through it all. They must be looking at a nuclear weapon. Now, the Tel Aviv has been decimated so much, they must be looking at nuclear weapons thinking, shall we or shall we?
Well, one thing we do know, David, there is some market manipulation going on here.
Oh, yeah. Let's have a look at, first off, the exchange rates. Just look at the exchange rates there. That's interesting.
Pound to euro 1.14, dollar to euro 85 cents.
That's unbelievable. You're now talking like, that's way down from what it was. But what you're talking there is 85 euro cents.
Aye, to buy a dollar.
You're not talking about 85 cents of a dollar buying a euro.
No, the other way around.
Right? Just a few months ago, and I had a look at the figures.
The dollar's crashing like fuck, David.
It was 87.
Anyway, the oil prices shot up.
Yep.
Brent crude, last time I looked, was sitting at $82 a barrel.
Yesterday it was 73.
Yep.
74, 73 pence, $73.
The gas price, for some reason, shot up by 25%.
Well, that's obvious that's going to happen, because what's going to happen is Russia's going to stop the cocks, aren't they? Russia are out to help their ally, which is Iran, and what they'll do is they'll just say, "Oh, fuck you," and switch off. That's it.
Yeah,
so therefore, gas from elsewhere, right? Gas will come from America or whatever. That's going to cost a fortune. Of course it is.
Yeah, what markets do?
Where, just answering this, and where do you think our electricity bills are going to go because that gas price going up? Please explain to me, David. What's going to happen?
Explain it to you. Self-explanatory. It'll go up.
Yeah,
because England have still got a lot of gas-powered generators.
Absolutely.
Now, the gold price is also through the fucking roof.
Yep.
It's at £4,023 an ounce.
So
$5,444 an ounce.
Yesterday, that was at $5,300 per ounce.
The market's well settled down. War's good for business.
No, but that tells me that there's a lot of worried elites out there that are buying gold like it's going out of business.
Oh, aye. There's also a lot of people in the Epstein file buying up gold so that they've got the wealth to come out to if they ever get out.
Absolutely. In actual fact, a lot of them won't get out.
It's looking like none of them are going to go in.
Yeah. Well, we don't know.
Because they're going to set the fucking world on fire to avoid it.
Yeah, I know.
You know, wait, the First World War was out of family feud.
Yeah.
The Second World War was out of fucking a heroin-addicted, failed fucking artist.
Yeah.
And it looks like the Third World War is going to be to protect a ring of paedophiles.
Yeah.
Extremely rich and powerful paedophiles.
When you think of it that way, the actual headline should go, could Epstein have caused the Third World War?
He fucking certainly will have. Pan Bondi in America has said, no, we can't prosecute these people, the whole system will collapse.
No.
That tells you how widespread and how deep this goes. The whole fucking system will collapse.
Yes, that's right.
So that you understand why they're wanting to start World War III for it, David.
You
imagine it, in 70 years' time, some kid that's about the news got a grandparent, and the grandwing goes up and says, Grandpa, I was told this in history about how the Third World War started. What was it you told me? Never mind what the history books tell you, son. The Third World War was started to protect some really powerful men for the consequences of their fucking actions.
I don't on this program. I try not to go down the rabbit hole. I won't this time. There's a great word. There's a great word that's used a lot on FBI. I love watching FBI on TV, the program, right? And they talk about what's the nexus, right? And you look at a load of things that come together and create a nexus, right? All the information. And you look at what's coming down the line right now. We've got AI marching down the road, right? We've got the USA in financial hawk, and Canada has just switched off the electricity and the oil and all the rest of it. Seriously, Canada has just said, right, taps off, right? And that's it, right? And see, when that happens, America is in real danger.
It's already
all they've got is a military industrial complex. That's it.
Anyway, to be more positive, I don't think this is going to come to much. I think Trump's more or less done. I have said this all along that he's bad for business.
You know, the people round about him that are actually feeding him and making him do various things or say various things are working hard to keep him in place, because the moment he's taken out of frame, it puts them in the spotlight. So Vance suddenly becomes that. He doesn't want that. Vance doesn't want that. Vance might be a mouth, but at the end of the day, he doesn't want to take what Trump's taking.
Anyway, when I'm saying to the people today, if this is going to escalate, there will be a draft. We're not without power. Ignore the draft.
Yeah.
And I mean, just en masse, ignore the draft.
Yeah.
They can't arrest every fucker.
Yeah.
Now, David and I are well known for civil disobedience. So if you're listening, MI5.
Yeah, but the problem is it tends to be just you and me that gets locked up.
That's because we challenge them directly, David. We don't fucking mince for words. So, if you're listening, Starmer, MI5, this isn't David, this is going to David me. I'm telling people, ignore the draft. I'd have landed up in the clinic and get diagnosed with bone spurs.
That, in actual fact, bone spur, that's something that affects your backbone. Yeah.
Yes.
The bone spur, your bone spurs are too long, and that means that you cannot carry a heavy weight and all the rest of it. You know, but, there's lots of things that come into that. So.
Yeah, that to the big fat orange man's body.
Yeah.
But no, I mean that sincerely. If World War III's coming, there'll be a draft. Ignore the fucking draft, and their power's gone.
Yeah.
Their power is absolutely gone.
Well,
they don't feed meat into the grinder, they can't fucking mince it.
Yet again, it's the Chinese curse. May you live in interesting times. We're right in amongst it, guys. We're right in there. This is interesting times.
Aye, you know
what, today, from what I saw on the Parliament channel, the
debate on Iran.
Yeah, the debate in Iran has been to the fact that Starmer has said, no, we're not joining yet. Right?
Yet.
What's going to happen is that he'll allow it to run for an extra few days, maybe, and there'll be another announcement, and this will be the one whereby he does a debate. The way he should do it properly is whereby he gets the chamber to vote for a war, taking part in a war. But I don't know. I get the feeling that Starmer's going to try and do it without. Sorry, David, am I disturbing you?
No, but Chris is right. He's no fighting Russia for America, and you're no fighting Iran for Israel.
Correct.
Chris, I didn't know you were still of age to have to fight.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for me, and the general staff who are going to have a tiff about this. Apparently, I am.
He'll a pipe at the end of the okay, chaps.
Yeah.
It's like we're going to hit them here, here, and here, and it's like that's it.
And here's your bat, dear boy.
Iran, poor people in Iran.
And Charles Campbell is asking any truth in the rumour that Trump's son Brandon Byron has already been diagnosed with bone spurs already.
Trump heard you. You shouldn't have said a word. Yeah.
Chris, you're well done the pecking order. They'll come for the 18 to 25-year-olds first.
And I'm 69 just a few weeks' time, so am I right?
Aye, you're fine.
They're going to hand me a gun and say, here, there you go.
As I say, you're fine.
End of the day, guys, it's like this is a situation.
The cut-off age, 45, if you've never served. If you have served, 65. It was previously 55, but the general staff just up another decade.
Mr. Hitler.
The general staff have just stuck up another decade. When I left the army, it was supposed to be 45 and I was free.
Yeah.
And then they upped it to fucking 55. I just get by 55 and they up it to fucking 65.
Guys, I can't say something stronger, right? Do you want to be part of this? Do you really want to be part of the good old Blighty? And it's like, let's have a war. It's exciting, right? Or do you want to be away from it and go, right, you share of tubes. You carry on, do what you're going to do. We'll watch what happens to you, right?
Yeah, brilliant. No.
It's a third world war. It doesn't matter anyway.
Right, I guess it's eyes on the prize time, David.
Yeah.
Want to thank everybody for coming on today.
Yeah, thank you everyone for coming today.
I've got a list of food banks up for Argyll and Bute. The problem with some of these areas is they're only open a couple of days a week. Makes it hard to get a grip of them. So this one, same as last year, it'll take a wee while for this one in the Islands. It might even be the middle of the month before I get it all out, folks. But it will go out. And at the moment, the balance is £1,082, I believe.
You know, I do remember Campbellton, for example.
Oh, it was a nightmare.
We only open one day a week. Right. That's it. You know.
As I say, these rural areas, they are hard. But the council still put up a list. So I do have a list. It's just a matter of catching them.
Yeah.
You know. So it will get out to Argyll and Bute. It just takes a wee bit longer with the rural areas.
Says, was it Tommy Guns disguised in the summer?
And Stephen McNichol says he wouldn't fight for a foreign king anyway.
Something like that.
Aye.
Guys, I don't know what to say to you to make this any easier. Sorry for bringing you any bad news if you didn't know about any of this shit that's going on. But it's the old Chinese curse when you live in interesting times.
Right. It is the Chinese curse.
You live in interesting times.
Well, you know what time it is, David. It's time for
Jack and Nori.
Fucking independence, you wasn't. I want you here.
Time for independence, and
keep your eyes on the prize. Bye for now.